Who is the best player in the NBA right now?
I think Jokic is the best offensive player. I don't think he's the best player. It's hard to say. I think it was between Giannis and Shea. When I will come back on the court, I think it'll be me.
That wasn't said by a former MVP. It wasn't said by an NBA champion with 10 years of experience. That was said by Victor Wembanyama, a player who hasn't even completed 3 full NBA seasons yet. In just a few sentences, with no hesitation and no hiding behind cliches, he sent a message to the entire league, the entire basketball world, and every superstar in today's NBA. A message that sounds simple, but carries massive weight. The best player in the world? It's only a matter of time. And that's where the real debate begins. Are we hearing the confidence of a player who truly understands how special he is? Or are we watching yet another case of overhype, something the NBA has seen countless times before? Because the league is full of players who were supposed to be something, but very few who actually became it. So to truly understand who Victor Wembanyama is, and whether this statement has real substance behind it, we have to go back to the very beginning. Victor Wembanyama was born in 2004 in France, into a family built around sports. His mother was a professional basketball player, his father, a track and field athlete. In other words, sports were part of his life from day one. But even in that environment, it was clear early on that Victor wasn't a normal talent. At 7 feet 4 inches, 224 centimeters, with an endless wingspan and coordination usually seen in guards, he wasn't just another tall kid. He was something rare. While other big men were learning basic fundamentals, how to run without tripping, how to turn without losing balance, Wembanyama was already handling the ball in traffic, shooting from deep with clean mechanics, blocking shots without even needing to jump. His movements looked wrong, as if physics simply didn't apply to him. NBA scouts realized very early this wasn't a project waiting to develop. This was a player redefining what his position could be. In other words, this wasn't the future. This was something coming to change the present. Before he ever stepped onto an NBA floor, Victor Wembanyama already had a serious professional resume in Europe.
Wembanyama blocks the shot. What a long
And he wasn't playing against kids. He wasn't playing in weak leagues. He was competing against grown professionals in one of the most tactical basketball environments in the world. Nanterre, Asvel, then Metropolitans 92. Each level got tougher, and every time, he looked like he belonged. He became the youngest MVP in French league history, the league's best defensive player, and someone who impacted winning, not just box scores. And then something rare happened. The stronger the opponents became, the higher the pressure rose, the calmer and more confident Wembanyama looked. The hype wasn't exaggerated. If anything, it was understated. NBA Draft 2023. The San Antonio Spurs select Victor Wembanyama with the first overall pick. There was no debate, no discussion. It was one of the most anticipated drafts in NBA history. Expectations were massive. Media called him the greatest prospect ever. Fans expected miracles. But the NBA doesn't forgive anyone. Every rookie, no matter the reputation, gets a reality check. Speed, strength, physicality, mental pressure. Everyone, except Wembanyama. In his rookie season, the numbers spoke immediately. And not solid rookie numbers. Numbers that instantly put his name into serious conversations. Over 20 points per game, double-digit rebounds, and very quickly among the league's elite shot blockers, not just among rookies. But those numbers are only the surface, because Wembanyama's true value doesn't always show up in the box score. It shows up in how opponents react. Offenses changed shots just because he was nearby. Guards hesitated on drives, looked for extra passes, or avoided the paint entirely. Centers avoided one-on-one matchups. Teams weren't adjusting because of his reputation. They were adjusting because of his real, on-court impact. That's not normal for a rookie. That's franchise player behavior. At the Olympic Games with the French national team, Wembanyama wins a silver medal. And this wasn't a tournament where he just participated. This was a tournament where he carried responsibility. In a structured, highly tactical style of basketball, against the best players in the world, under enormous pressure from a home crowd and national expectations, Wembanyama didn't disappear. He rose. He was one of the pillars of the team, a player defenses collapsed around, a presence that controlled the paint. This wasn't YouTube hype anymore. This was validation on the biggest international stage. But no great story is ever a straight line. Injuries slowed him down. He missed part of the season. And almost overnight, the tone changed. Can a 7-foot, 4-inch body survive the NBA long term? How real is the risk of chronic injuries? Are we watching another what could have been story? These are questions the NBA always asks players with his frame, and they can't be ignored. But right in that moment, Wembanyama makes his MVP statement. Not as an excuse, not as a justification, but as a declaration of intent. Very quickly, Wembanyama becomes an all-star level player. Not because of marketing, not because of draft hype, because his impact became impossible to ignore. At the same time, he enters NBA history as one of the fastest players ever to reach 500 career blocks. That's not just height, that's timing, anticipation, defensive instinct. He doesn't block shots by accident, he predicts them. On defense, Wembanyama isn't just a player, he's a system. The scariest part of this entire story, Victor Wembanyama isn't a finished product yet, and that's what terrifies the league. Every season, the improvement is clear. More consistent three-point shooting, better body control through contact, smarter decisions with the ball, more mature reads against double teams. He's already capable of scoring 25-plus points per game, often without ideal spacing, without a roster fully built around his strengths. Which leads to one unavoidable question. What happens when the Spurs are fully ready to build around him? Because if this is only the beginning, the rest of the league should be very concerned. Let's go back to the start. Jokic, Giannis, Shea, and Wembanyama saying, "When I'm back on the court, I think it'll be me." That's not arrogance. That's vision. The question isn't whether he has the talent. There's only one question left. How long before the rest of the league is ready to accept it? Maybe he's not the best player in the world yet, but one thing is certain. Victor Wembanyama isn't the future. He's already a problem. And MVP?